Hello, my name is Ilona, and now I want to talk about something, well, maybe else, but this could be related to my memories stuff. And I want to tell a story about how and why I arrived to the UK and what I did here in my first years, let's say it, yeah, I guess years. So how it happened? There was this crisis on this planet, some kind of crisis. I don't remember what was it. When people started to losing their jobs and stuff. I had a job at that point, at that time, in 2008. It was Lido. If you ever visited Latvia in Riga, you probably know what Lido is. But I didn't work in that exact Lido where most of the people go, the main Lido, but in another place. And that job was absolutely crazy. So what I was doing there, yes, it is not so much related to why I'm in UK, but it somewhat is. I was working on salads, and we worked from 8 in the morning to 10 in the evening, so very long hours. It was crazy, it was very hard because of many reasons. So we didn't really had the time to rest much because we were, especially, well, most of the day, well, in the morning as well, because we had to prepare all the stuff, and people were eating like crazy, and there was always not enough stuff, and I was all the time doing something very fast, and yeah, so it was very hard. But luckily, what happened? Uh, they also didn't wanted to pay as much as before, or something like that. But also, I think what they, why did we left? Did they ask us to leave? Yes. Oh my god, this was so long time. I already don't remember what happened. Yes, they asked me to leave because okay, I will not tell you why. No, it was nothing like I did something terrible there. That was more related to my private life. But they asked me to leave, and I was there working with, let's say, another family member. Yeah, I guess I can say it's a family member. Yes, they asked me to leave because things were becoming a little bit complicated, not with that another person, but with some other things. And she said that she's also leaving because I told that, yes, they were supposed to be three people, but somehow she was learning or something. And they decided they will keep her instead of me. Yes, this is how it was, I guess. And when they said to me that I have to leave, and she's like, no, I am not staying here. I don't know what was the reason, but she kind of felt like weird that they decided probably, yeah, maybe we didn't really discuss it as much. But she also said no, she's also leaving because what was the thing? She was very young, and at that point, probably she was also tired of all that stuff. And I already had a child, and she felt like it's kind of, she doesn't really need that job as much as maybe I need it. 2008, I forgot a lot of these things, and now I only started to remember. So basically, we left. We left. I don't know what they did after we left, and then we had this idea: what are we doing now? We need a job, but it is really very difficult already It was difficult in a job which we already had before. And we were looking for different jobs. And what we decided, what we are doing, we never had this kind of okay. Since I was a child, I wanted to leave to somewhere else, to another country. But this will be different probably for her. But for me, it was two reasons. First of all, I was born in Soviet Union, and we were not allowed much to travel, so we didn't travel anywhere. Another thing, after the Soviet Union collapsed in the 90s, we were allowed to go wherever we wanted. Well, probably, but we didn't have money for that. So for many years, since I remember, I wanted to leave to somewhere. It's not like because I hate my country or whatever, but I felt like I was like in this prison and I wanted to leave. I wanted this freedom. But it was always like kind of like this, more like, how to say, more like this kind of a dream or something. But when, if I had to think like for real, I was not so sure, because it's not easy to leave the place you know and to travel. One thing is if you to travel as a tourist, maybe to look at something, and it still can be quite stressful. Another thing when you go there forever. But we decided this was this like first time, I guess, when I had this thought that yeah, maybe I should think about it, because maybe this is the time. I don't think we can find anything, or I can find anything good, at least at that time, in Latvia. And we had this idea, okay, we will continue to look for a job in Latvia, in Riga or in our hometown in Līvāni. But we also will check the opportunities abroad. And how it was there, we found this seasonal job, yes, through the agency in Latvia. It's not like we were looking in job offers on the internet or newspapers in UK, but no, we went to the agency which were looking for seasonal workers. And it was not straight away, we just went there in somewhere in maybe October. We did all the paperwork, we had to pay some amounts of money. It was not a big amount of money, it was not in thousands or something, it was like few hundred. I don't know how much. It was more probably like to pay for paper stuff, something like that. Most likely the place in UK also paid them some kind of money. That's how they could maybe earn something, but I don't know that. So yes, we went there somewhere in October, and we actually started the job and went to the UK in January. So it was like 3-4 months, somewhere around that. So basically in October, when we applied and started to do all this paper stuff, we also kept looking for jobs in Latvia, and the idea was that which one will be first. I mean, if we will find a good job in Latvia, we are staying. If no, we are going. And we were quite scared. We didn't know what can happen. What if we will be sold somewhere? You know, all these scary stories. Because, okay, we went to this agency. It was legit agency. But at that time, we were not 100% sure, of course. Who knows? But we took this risk. and it was worse. uh, yeah, we found actually a job in Livan in cookie factory, let's say, you know, biscuit, whatever. Okay. I stayed there for maybe 2 weeks. She stayed there maybe for 3 days or something. It was terrible. The job was awful, and also we already knew that most likely we are going to UK. We kind of slowly, it was not, which is good. We could prepare like mentally for this move. It didn't happen straight away, and we understood that no, even if we could stay in that place to work there, but that was a hell. It was very hard. Those were night shifts. I don't know if it was always night shifts or there were some kind of changes. I don't remember that now. Long hours and everything, and I had enough of this type of jobs. So basically, yeah, we in January 2009, yes, 2009, and I'm saying we, yes, I was not alone. We went together, which was quite good because there was another girl. She went alone, and I can imagine how she was worried. So it was better for us that there were two of us. Well, yeah, still. And yes, this is how I moved here. But the idea was doing seasonal work. Doing seasonal work for a few months and go back, live for a few months in Latvia, and then go again for another seasonal work. And this is how I actually started. But what happened? First of all, my daughter, she was 7 years old, and obviously I could not take her for with me to the seasonal job. So that was not okay that she stays with her grandparents for months, and then while a lot of people lived like that, and actually my parents also, they left me with my grandparents a lot, and they went to work, and especially my father, he also spent long months somewhere else working, but what also happened, yes, first job we did in this tomato greenhouse, and if I compare to any other jobs in Latvia which I had, that was the easiest job. But can you imagine, it was a greenhouse, it was very hot at daytime, already in March, and it was a hard job. It was hard, and also sometimes long hours, but sometimes not so long. It depends how much of work I wanted to do or was available for me to do. So also it depended when and what we exactly did. And it was for 6 months, yeah, somewhere around that. And when I finished that, oh yeah, okay, so when I finished that, I went back, and then my mother wanted to go somewhere, and that's how we went to Ireland. And there we went to another agency, so I already had experience with agency, and I was like, okay, this is fine. Agencies are fine. Yes, people do find a job like that, and it's fine. I already had this good experience. And we went to Ireland with my mother, and that was a little bit different experience, because the problem is, apparently, that place, and in Ireland we went to do mushrooms, and that place already found people. I really, I don't know how this happens when you ask for workers and they arrive, and then you say, ah, no, we already found somebody somewhere. So we arrived to Ireland and we didn't have a job. And I cannot say that I had a lot of money left already, because of course we had to pay obviously for a lot of things, tickets including. And yes, that's maybe another story. Maybe I did earn quite a lot of money, but not a huge amounts from these tomatoes. But the problem is I also spent quite a lot because, let's say, I never had as much money in my life, and it was hard to not spend it. And yeah, but okay, so in Ireland we stayed from August. I left in January, so next year. My mother stayed there maybe until the April or something. So yeah, we were able to find some other jobs also in mushrooms in other places, but in different places. We didn't work at the same place, both of us. But then something happened in that another place where I worked. I had to leave. Oh, okay. So many crazy stuff happened actually there, but okay, that's another story. That's too long of a story. And then I had enough of these mushrooms. It was not a bad job. The problem in this case was not that it was very hard or whatever. Yes, you had to try to work faster if you wanted to earn more money. And I was not able to work as fast as, I mean, I could earn money which would be good if I lived there, but if I wanted to little bit save, then it was not enough. But the job itself, it was fine. It was fine, it was not very hard, it was fine. But there was another problem, that this shortage of jobs, job opportunities, let's say it like that. So we changed few mushroom farms, and that was a nightmare. No stability, that was a problem. And I went back to Latvia, and what I did next, I found another person with who I could go again somewhere. Yes, about the tomatoes, that woman, let's say, yes, woman, she stayed at tomatoes while I left. Well, actually, she still works there, technically. Not really the same place, but technically. Yes, and I found another person. So what year was it already? 2010. And we went to Scotland for strawberries. And again, through the agency. Actually, through the same agency which I did, which I used for tomatoes. Apparently, it is not just one-sided thing. My agency was good, but that doesn't necessarily mean that all the jobs they can provide us are also as the same. I mean, while tomatoes was amazing, everything was amazing. I really loved the job. It was hard, but I liked a lot of things. I liked it. But strawberries, that was another story also, not just because this job at strawberries, with strawberries, is really hard compared to tomatoes. It is much harder, but also people there were different compared to the people in tomato greenhouse. And this is not just about the workers, but also owners of that strawberry farm. They maybe the difference between tomatoes is that in tomatoes there were not really so much. It was bigger. It was a bigger thing. And the owners were not walking around. I even don't know who were the owners in the tomato factory. So it was more like there were just the supervisors and everything, and we had well, they were good, they were nice, and everything was fine. In strawberries there was a little bit different because we had some kind of communication problems, and I'm saying we because I was not the only one there. As we went through the agencies, that it was similar how we did in tomatoes. We were a group of people, let's say around 10, maybe a little bit more than 10. And we all were not happy about that place and how we were treated in a quite negative and aggressive way, I would say. Especially we didn't have experience in this job. They expected from us, I don't know what. We were not able to do that. Some people there were older than me, and I at the time, I was not old, I was around 30 years old. So there were people in their 40s and 50s, and that was really a hard job. We were not happy. We were contacting the agency and explained that this sucks. So we had the problems there, and we worked there for 2 weeks, and we split from this group, me, that another woman with who I went there, and we met another woman there. So all 3 of us, we decided, no, I don't know what others, or we don't know what others will do in our group. Maybe they will do something else, maybe they will stay, whatever. I don't know how they felt, maybe they felt we left them. But I said, no, we are not staying here, whatever. No, we are just going somewhere else. And somewhere else, I mean, to the place where I live now. So I knew this town. I said there are jobs around there which probably will be better than this one. But we had a problem, obviously. We could not just go here and live on the street. So luckily, people with who I already worked in tomatoes, who I knew, and that another girl who stayed in tomatoes, she helped us, and we found a place. Oh, there was another crazy story how it all ended. At the end, it was also awful. But yes, we found this. We had help with finding a place where to stay, and we just left these strawberries. And at that point, I understood that no, all these seasonal jobs, no, it's not. It is good, but it is not always good. It can be good, but it can be very bad. Basically, luckily, I was able to get back into the tomatoes. Another 2 people with us, they found another jobs, so they were fine also. And yes, and that's how I decided that, okay, I am staying where I am. I am not now changing anything. Nothing will be better than it is, most likely. And then I was able to take my daughter with me, to live with me in UK. And basically from 2010 2010, I think, let's say from November, we live here, like we live here for real, without going from one place to another or whatever. Yes, we did have to move 2 times. This is our third place here, but otherwise I am falling asleep. Yeah, I am thinking now. I'm thinking how to finish it now. Yes, basically after these 3 very interesting jobs, very different, one easier, one harder, I understood that this is not really how I can continue actually to live. Maybe I could if I was alone, but because I had daughter, I had to think also about her, and I understood that this is not the best way how to live my life. And when I was able to get back into these tomatoes, I decided that that's it. This is my life now, and I was able to bring my daughter here, and since this, I guess it was 2010, we are living here, so already 15 years. And initially, I didn't have this plan to live here. My plan was to work for a few months here, then went back for a few months, and again, like do this type of stuff. But no, you cannot live in 2 places simultaneously, I guess. At least, well, maybe for some people it really works and it's fine and they are happy. But I needed this place which I can call home, where I am at home in this one place, and also I wanted my daughter to be with me. Because, yes, that would be a normal thing to do for every parent. Yes. Thanks for watching and goodbye.